What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Awakening World. It's Saturday night, and it's going to be a show with a lot of wonderful music, a lot of celebration, and a lot of wonderful people. I see many of my favorite people are already in the Zoom room, and that makes me very, very happy. It's great to see all of you. And welcome to those of you who are watching on Facebook, YouTube. Really appreciate our partners. Thank you, John and Summer Raymer. Every show, they're putting us out through the Sign Network, where we're reaching a lot of wonderful new people. And tonight, we are celebrating Piper Dellums, who is going to be joining us at some point soon. She's actually taking a friend to the hospital. Leave it to Piper to be in service like that. And, you know, on August 22nd, we did a fundraising event for Piper. And honestly, I've done about 600 of these shows now since we started, and it was one of my absolute favorite ones of all time. So we're going to show some of the excerpts from that show. We've got some special guests who are going to drop in and visit us. We're going to hear from Gary Malkin. We're going to hear from hopefully some of Joey Raymer. Swami Beyondananda is planning on dropping on in, and of course Piper. So it's going to be a fun show. And of course, we are going to start the show as we always do with our beloved Omar Shar leading the way. Take it away, brother.
Hey, namaste and welcome. And I've been getting a few phone calls saying that our Zoom room needs to be resumed. Some of the people are ending up on a Wednesday night. And so if you could check that out, Scott. I've just been sending a couple of people our new Zoom room ID. And so this is for Piper tonight. And this song, Beloved Piper, is called Breathe Me In.
smile has left your face, and the tears roll down your cheeks. Slow down, and breathe me in. When your river's running dry, and you're driven to your knees, slow down, and breathe me in. I am watching you, waiting for you to let my love into that lonely life of yours. Listen to me, and we can be together free eternally. When your world seems upside down, and you think, what can I do? Slow down, and breathe me in. When you're feeling out of touch, and you need someone to hold, slow down, and breathe me in. I am watching you, waiting for you to let my love into that lonely life of yours. Listen to me, and we can be together free eternally. Slow down, and breathe me in. Deep breath, everybody.
And let's all give a twinkle to our beloved Omashar. You know, Susan Bloomquist just wrote in the chat box, this song offers such good advice and kindness. And it's true. It's good advice sung with so much love and so much kindness. Omashar, thank you. Well, speaking of kindness, Piper Dellums is in the house, so we're going to bring her up in a little bit, but I want to bring up Summer Joy Raymer because she is one of the kindest people I've ever met. And this big event that we did a couple of weeks ago that we're going to be pulling excerpts from was really a co-creation with my soul sister. There she is, Summer Joy Raymer. And of course, many of you were at her earlier dance-a-thon. And so if you've attended any of her dance events, pop in the chat box what that's meant to you. And I want to turn it over to you for a moment, Summer, just to share anything you want to share from your heart, because it's really precious to have you with us tonight.
Yeah, it's good to be back, and it's really, really good to see Piper. I've been wondering about you all this time, which has only been about a week and a half, right? A time is really different for me these days. And just, tenderly, it was such a space to, whenever I dance, I hold everything and everyone in my dance for peace on earth.
Mm.
And it was just so natural, Scott, as we've been in conversations and in ACE, it just felt so natural. And I look forward to kindness being natural in what we see going on everywhere, being generating abundance, and having conversation and stepping into action to just what needs to be supported at whatever moment that we're in. And I appreciate you saying that about me, Scott, and I feel like exactly the same way about you. And I know that that's, the scaffolding of Saturday Night Alive and the awakening world is to step up for people that need support. And yeah, I mean, I just look forward to that being more normal in this world.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. She mentioned ACE, so we should just remind people that ACE stands for Artists Catalyzing Evolution. And so all the different people that you see tonight, including Summer, Kristen Hoffman, Gary Malkin, Charles Gibbs, Kit Thomas, and Piper are all members of ACE, and is Omoshar now. So it's a wonderful group, and it's a synergy group that's part of the Evolutionary Leaders Network. And so that's what ACE is all about. And we do want to raise money for Piper. And so here's something really cool. This is the GoFundMe that I started for her when she first got the diagnosis. Now notice the numbers. We want to raise $15,000. We have an anonymous donor who, when we did our celebration, agreed to match what we had raised starting last week or 10 days ago on August 22nd, dollar for dollar. And if we can today get at least $558, that'll take us to 10,000. And Summer, we started below 5. So with her donation, we will make the $15,000 amount. So come on, you guys, let's do it. I want to thank all of you who have donated. I know so many people here have already donated, but let's get over that $10,000 mark tonight, which really means it gets us to $15,000, which was our original goal. So that's pretty exciting, right?
It's so exciting. And I think, like, just to go back to that day and the dancing and the, focusing on Piper. I can't see her, but I just need to look at her right now.
Well, I'll bring her. I was going to do a grand introduction.
I just need to look at her.
Here she is. We'll bring her up. There's Piper.
I want to look at Piper. Scott, bring yourself.
I want to see Summer Joy. I've made a decision that this is going to be the first time that I do not cry through an entire show. I am here to celebrate love and community and this village and this healing process and my family. And the next time, Summer Joy, that you do a whole dance-a-thon, I already know, I've already accepted and received, these two legs are going to be able to do all of that dancing with you. This I know. And I've had a considerable healing process going every day. And you guys met Carrie, Scott met Carrie. She's been putting in 6 hours a day on the biotechnology on my body. And I mean, I haven't gone back to the Western MRI. I want to wait until I can hear in my spirit go, so that the miracle, so that all of those doctors and oncologists can just go, what happened? And I can say, the awakening world and God and light and energy and love happened. So today is the day that I just want to embrace all of the love of this and not be so emotional, because I shared with Scott some pretty intense stuff the other day, because he sends me love every morning. Sylvia sends me love every night. And there hasn't been a day that I've awakened where Scott hasn't sent me a good morning, I love you. And so he feels like a real brother. So I have shared with him intimately the journey from the MRIs to some pretty horrible surgical issues. And because I know that he not only is holding space, but also he's blessing this process. And I am really grateful. I'm just so grateful. But to see you, some of you gave me so much. Your real name really is Joy. You are literally joy on the earth. And, and I told Scott I don't have a problem with him sharing, just to see where I am today and to see the journey that I've been on. It even blows my mind. And so, I don't know if Scott if it feels comfortable sharing all of that stuff, but yeah, I'm pretty blown away,
Oh, good, good.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Packer, I want to read a couple of comments that have come in from our audience, because we're really going to engage our Zoom roomers tonight. Uh, Ayada writes, Dear Piper, your tears are also an expression of your love and joy. They are healing and welcome. And Eleanor Joy writes, yes, tears are necessary and healing and beautiful. And Susan writes, we've watched your journey, Piper. Scott and this community have brought healing to many. Thank you for that, Susan. And people are asking again for your GoFundMe page, and there it is. There is the GoFundMe page. I've put it into the chat box. And for those of you who are watching on Facebook or YouTube, if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see the link where you can come into the Zoom room, be with us directly. But you could also just go to GoFundMe, and if you put in the search bar Piper Dellums, this will come right up. And we're going to go over 10,000 tonight, which really means we're going to hit our $15,000 goal.
I just put the GoFundMe in the Love Coach Academy live stream chat as well.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
May I read something, Scott, to our Awakening World family?
Absolutely.
I just want to read something to all of you. First of all, I love you so much. I have two brothers in my actual family, my blood family, and I always wanted a really huge family. And I feel like now I have all of these brothers and sisters. I want somehow for us to have some kind of an overnight slumber party retreat at some point in our lives so that I can hug and embrace and dance with and love on each and every one of you. But I just had something that I wanted to read to you in gratitude. Here I go, but I'm not going to. In gratitude for all of this love and all of this embrace and all of this support. So it simply says, now I can see that one loving gesture is practically divine. We have to do small things and believe a big difference is coming. It's like the miraculous drops of water that seep through mountain limestone. They gather themselves into springs that flow into creeks, that merge into rivers, that find their way to oceans. Our work, this love, is to envision the drops as oceans. We do our small parts and know a powerful ocean of love and compassion is downstream. Each small gesture can lead to liberation. The bravest thing we can do in this world is not cling to old ideas or fears or fear of judgment, but step out and just do something for love's sake. There's no secret formula to experiencing the sacred in our lives. It just takes practice, love, and practicality. It takes us. It takes the Global Peace Tribe. It takes this family. It takes community. It takes the tears and the heartbeat and the music and the dance and the village. The deep truth of our lives and the fullness we are striving for does not happen with someone giving us the code to this deep love or this deep knowledge. Meaning and faith and love are not secret things. Sometimes what we need most is to just remind one another of how the divine is all around us, inside of us, coming through us and calling us to see and taste it for ourselves as we selflessly give it away. Thank you.
Wow. You know, that inspired me. In a moment, I'm going to show a Piper Dellums video because she's a brilliant filmmaker. She's a brilliant poet. Your voice, Piper. I mean, you could read the Yellow Pages and make it interesting. You have such a beautiful voice. I want to read, I'd asked people to put comments in the chat box about Summer's dances, Piper. So I actually want to read some of those, and then I'm going to take a look at the journey home, and I'll let you introduce that. But these are some comments coming in. Ayada just wrote about what you read. Piper, that is one of the most beautiful things I have ever heard. Bonnie writes, now I'm moved to tears. So beautiful. Grace Denise writes, Piper, sending you infinite healing miracle wishes and love. Dia, about the dance, writes, at long last, I joined in Summer's Dance-a-thon. Whoopee! It was fun. Reverend Jeffrey writes, being a part of all of this has restored me. Ayada writes, Summer, I've loved the times I was able to join in your dance marathons, even if briefly. It felt so wonderful to see this community dancing with you, even after hours. It's true. When she's done the 24-hour ones, I keep it on as I go to sleep, but I wake up and there it is. And there are other people dancing with her at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's very cool. Anyway, Ayada continues, it also really has inspired me to see you dancing with so much passion for so long for the good of others. Absolutely. Absolutely. And George Noble writes, this is excellent, Piper. So glad to hear and see you. You look better, sound better. So that's from George. Grace Denise just wrote, so beautiful, Piper. Thank you for sharing your inspiring words with us. And Eleanor Joy lets us know that Ian will be contributing $44. So thank you very much for that, Eleanor Joy and Ian. Thank you. Piper, I'm going to show the video that you sent to me last night, The Journey Home. Do you want to introduce it for our audience?
Well, when you mentioned, Scott, that we were having sort of this re-embrace, this reunion, I have a very difficult time with these experiences. I have a really difficult time being sort of the center of having people shower into me. It makes me incredibly uncomfortable, and it's this this need to allow myself to rest and receive love. And I'm so grateful because it's not something that I'm used to outside of my children and my father. I'm used to being on stages and speaking into a crowd that I can't see because my work is to help others. And when I'm rescuing and helping others, I feel safe. When it's turned towards me, I feel inadequate. And I think that that has a lot to do with being a survivor of domestic violence. And I know I've shared that, but there is something that does twist in your ability to receive love. The journey home is what this is for me, this experience, because I believe that the journey home is our journey back to that sacred place where we recognize that we are all not just truly beautiful imprints of God and the divine, but that love is our birthright. And as love is being poured into me, it's being poured into all of you because we're in this oneness. We're this one consciousness, this great, beautiful family. And it disallows the deception of being separate from love or separate from one another. So as you know, Gary Malkin, when I went into my, I think it was the 4th or the 5th surgical process, Gary started sending me music, just orchestration, and said, just play it as you heal, play it as you heal. And so I would play it when I was in too much discomfort, emotionally or physically. And then I would get inspired. And this piece he sent me, I was called back to this mountaintop where I lived. I separated myself just to pray. And I moved 7,000 feet on top of a mountain in a place called Idlewild in the San Jacinto Mountains. And the snow in the mountains, wherever they are, seem to be a place of solace for me, the ocean or the mountaintop. And I wanted to utilize the footage of winter because it's what I feel like I've been going through. And in this winter process where things look barren and cold and frigid, I know that spring is on the horizon, that beneath that snow, beneath that majestic beauty is life, this new transformation and this pushing through. So I sent it to Scott last night, and it's very simple, but it was really, this is my journey home. And I thank all of you for walking me home, for being there on this road with me.
Thank you, Piper. You know, we're going to play it in a minute, but there's some really beautiful comments that have come in. And I want to read them because then there'll be more comments after the video, no doubt. Sylvia, well, we'll start with Eleanor Joy. Eleanor Joy writes, just remember, Piper, you are an aspect of Goddess, and Goddess is whole and perfect love. Summer Joy wrote, you're doing great, Piper. What a gift it continues to be with you this way. Sylvia writes, sharing the white shawl of healing from the prayers of 22 women and the dance-a-thon for Piper. All the dance-a-thons have been deeply moving, rooted in spiraling, radiance, honoring all expressions of feelings and discomfort. Again, sharing the white shawl of healing. And Susan Blomquist, commenting on you looking back at your life, writes, this is the important part as Piper is looking at her own journey. Kathy just wrote, I completely resonate with what Piper is saying. Carol Craig writes, I understand what you're saying, Piper. I have a hard time accepting help also, and just feeling vulnerable is so uncomfortable for me. I'm sending so much healing and love and energy to you. And remember, Piper, you're inspiring. You're giving us, you're teaching us how to receive. And so those members of our audience who feel alone and are needing more support in their life, you're modeling how to be vulnerable and to receive, even though it's awkward and uncomfortable, because most of us much prefer to give than to receive. So you're modeling something very important for people. Eleanor Joy writes, you are such a beautiful, inspiring soul, Piper. Grace Denise, in response to what you just read or said, says, this really speaks to me, Piper, the warmth that is life. And Reverend Jeffrey Colbrick writes, the divine truth of wholeness shines through you, Piper. It through you into us, casting out all illness. Spoken only like a reverend. So with that, we will now take a look at this beautiful video from Piper called The Journey Home. I'm going to bring Omashar and Summer up. In a moment, I'd like to hear your responses, but I'm going to read a few of the responses from our audience first. So many beautiful comments. Morgine writes, my authentic fear melts away in your words and visions of nature's beauty, which always surround us wherever we are. Because everything we eat, use, and wear came from nature. The origin of everything came from nature, always surrounding us with its love, reminding me nothing to fear, knowing and remembering nature's love is always here, very near. I wish I could watch this many times, and yes, I will put the YouTube link into the chat box. A few people have asked for that. Thank you, Piper. Nothing is missing in you or me or the oneness we all share. Caring and loving infinitely and forever. Loving you always, Morgine. And then she has a PS. May your love of nature and nature's love of you heal all that needs to be healed. A few more beautiful comments. Jerry Anderson, our wild monk, writes, I want to wake up every day to this. Where's the link? So we'll get that to you, Jared. Reverend Jeffrey writes, even during the most trying of times, continue to allow that deep joy connected to the center of God's source, our divine inheritance. Roger and Bonnie write, your poetry and photography are a gift to the world. Piper, your words are magic, deeply profound. Eleanor Joy writes, wouldn't it be great if someone at some time would read back this soulful message of beauty back to Piper? Jerry writes, deeply touched from the inside out by Piper's words. Also, as a drone pilot, awesome footage. And Carol Craig wraps it up with, be here now. Oh, more have come in. Grace writes, can we purchase a collection of your videos and poems? Yes, let's put together a Piper collection, definitely. Grace writes, you're bringing healing to us all, Piper. Ayada writes, Piper, that was exquisite. I could see using that as a daily meditation. Have you considered putting this on Bandcamp and generating income from this and your other beautiful videos? So I'd love for you to answer that question. Then I want to hear from Omashar and Summer.
Wow, thank you, thank you. Those were such beautiful comments. I'm sort of wanting to jump through and just thank you from the bottom of my heart. You know, I'm just going to say I'm born in the 60s. I don't even know what Bandcamp is. So I know what it is to go to Bandcamp. And so no, I've not done that. And no, I've not ever made any money off of any of it. These have all been, I did 12 of them just out of healing and gratitude to Gary for sharing his music. And I did the same for Ivy and for 99 Days of Peace. I just feel like the creative process and finding my voice and putting pictures with where my spirit is unfolding is a necessity for me. It's just a necessity. But but thank you. I'm going to have to find a nice young person to say, do all of that. Other than that, I do have about 20 of those films that I made, and because Gary and Ivy have been so generous with their music, and it's just on a YouTube channel. I just sort of, I would just love that somebody even wants to stop and watch and listen. So I just hand them to Scott and go, let me see what it looks like on the big screen. Pretty simple, but thank you.
So beautiful, Piper. What we're witnessing in real time is a true deepening of you. And you know, being a stiff upper lip British dude, I fully recognize those parts of me which can't receive them myself. But something even more transformative is happening with you. And I'm just reflecting it back to you, because just from your words, trust in the eyes of love, trust in the eyes of your own love, disassociate yourself from how other people see you. You know, we're truly coming back to the I in ourselves, the true I. And from that space, we don't need anyone else to pat us on the back or to applaud us on, because we are all of that. And I am honoring the witnessing of you, because I see it in myself too. And we as a group here, it's not an exclusive group, because it's the Global Peace Tribe, which is the whole of the omniverse ultimately. You know, we're all just witnessing how each other are awakening. And it's coming down to trusting only in our true selves. And I've seen many of your videos, and I think that was probably probably the best so far, in that it has no ego in it, nothing that is not real. And just the snowy beginnings, and then the rainbow end, talking about the colors. It's hard to put what into words I'm trying to say, but I just recognize that you're awakening with yourself, and this seeming burden of the physical appearance, which is just an appearance. We know that, even though it's a real appearance, it's also not within the perfection of who you are in your heart. It's doing something. You're being tempered, like the samurai sword. Someone taking 10 years to make one sword, and you're doing it all real time in front of us in 7, 8, 9 months. And we're getting to share it with you. So this is absolutely huge, absolutely massive. And I'm going to bring one other element into this before I stop, because I could go on forever, because the deeper we go, the deeper we go. This is my journey too. I want to honor Darina Joy, whose father passed today in Bulgaria. And his name, I think, is Stoyan. And she has a grief which she's sharing publicly with us. And but it's all in the same, it's all in the same vein. And she was grieving that she did not get to see her father before he died. And I had exactly the same thing happen with me. My father passed away from whatever, because his body expired. However, I could not be there in England with him at the time he passed. In fact, I had a phone call arranged with him with my brother. And 10 minutes before he passed, I felt this feeling through my body. And I said to my friend, I think my dad just died. And then 10 minutes later, my brother just from the hospital said, our dad's just died. And so I'm just trying not to relieve Darina's grief or our pain, but just to know that this is just such a fascia. There's not life after death. There's just life. There's just life. And so as a Global Peace Tribe, we're sending to Darina our love, as we send to you our love. We're all in this together. And thank you.
Almost since you brought that up, thank you. We'll take a brief moment. Here are some photographs that Darina Joy sent us. And Darina Joy is one of our most beloved Global Peace Tribers. She's been with us from the start, and she's always with us, coming to us from Ecuador. And here's just a few photos that she sent. There she is with her father. And there they are. Beautiful colors and happier times. And of course, our loved ones, even when they're no longer in their body, they do live forever in our hearts. So absolute maximum grace to you, Darina Joy. and to the spirit of your father and to your family during this tender, tender time.
I feel it's just so connected. All of this feels so connected. Um, big hugs to Dorina. And I, as just on the other side of watching this extraordinary masterpiece from Piper and Gary, I was feeling a lot of our dance and how much I felt your father as we danced together, and the story that you spoke of the song that Stevie Wonder wrote for your father, and that Stevie Wonder sang at his honoring of his life. And I just want you to know I can't stop listening to this song. And I just want to bring up those words, that I feel like your medicine, and when you are in that flow of speaking in these films and the work that you do with Ivy, there's something that I feel reveals this love's in need of love today. Like you nourish that. And where I was dancing and where I often dance in the physical place that I do my dances is right next to a tree, and that I planted after my father passed. And Doreen, I just have to tell you that so much of the garden of joy that I dance from comes from a well of grief of every day missing my father and feeling my father and missing him. Like, and I feel like there is something about grief and purpose, and like that unabashed, like that no matter what's going on. Like I feel that in you, Piper. There's this something, like there's this process that you're in. You're dealing with what's going on in your body, these tumors, and there's something like that does unstoppable about creation and your
Yeah.
service, and you're like, and that's not stopping me. That I just hope there's a medicine in there for Drina and wherever she's at and how she's processing losing dad. It's one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life up to this point. I mean, and I don't think there's any right way, or if you're there with them or if you're not. It's just hard. It is hard. And I really felt, Piper, your father, as we were in the depths of flowing in abundance, flowing in to you, that there was something beyond like us, and we're in a Zoom room and, but there was something just flowing to you. And that felt like in the realms that we cannot see, like there was something happening miraculous that I will never forget. That is, wow, just show up in those little places and do those things and be of service and be kind, and wow, Piper. So, yeah, that's what I have to say right now.
Since you are talking about Piper's dad, I had created a slideshow, which we showed on August 22nd. And I'm going to go ahead and show it now because the first few photos are of her father. And her father was one of the great men. His name was Ron Dellums, congressman from the East Bay, California, who truly was legendary. I mean, I've lived in the Bay Area the last 40 years, and everybody knew Ron Dellums because he was such an extraordinary man. So anyway, here's a slideshow of Piper, and which actually starts off with some photos of her dad. There he is. And I put this together because I love the way
You know what this is, Scott? This painting, because he also chaired the House Armed Services Committee for a very long time. And so he was the fourth man under the president. This was this is in the Capitol building.
wow.
So this is the portrait that they made, that I guess will be there forever.
Wow. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. And I, I have to admit, I love the look on your face as I put those two pictures together because it kind of sums up your love for your dad. Yeah, and there is little Piper with now how old are you in that picture, do you think, Piper?
Oh my God. This must be 1969 because we're still in Berkeley. So yeah, I can tell by my mom's dress. This must be 1969.
Wow.
And we were exhausted because they had us on the campaign trail all for like a month straight. And you see, we're falling asleep. My brothers are like, and we had been on trolleys all over San Francisco and the Bay. And then a photographer showed up at the house. And I remember we were all falling asleep, and my dad said, we gotta stay awake a little bit longer. And everyone was just passing out. So that gives me the giggles. So I must have been maybe four.
Wow.
Four.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was the same day. You see,
Wow.
we have the
Oh,
electron
well,
gun.
hang on. Let me stop the share screen and go to that for whoops. My mouse is hang on.
Oh,
Uh,
Jesse,
my mouse, you know what? Hang
that's
on.
okay.
The mouse on my thing just did a weird thing, so we're gonna have to charge it
That was
from.
at his service.
But yeah, there he is when he passed.
Yeah, down below, I threw a 4-hour concert before his celebration of life. And we were outside, the Temptations performed, and well, I don't know why I'm looking at his face. Lionel Richie. And it was this beautiful concert. And that woman came up to me and put her forehead against mine. That's what that picture was. And we just cried. That's Taito Juanito. I spent a lot of time in the Amazon healing in Colombia and Costa Rica, and continuously so, trying to heal my body and spirit. And those were my friends who are monks who, when they come to town, they stay with me and they keep me up meditating for 3 days on end. And it's always a blessing to have them in my home, and they sleep on the floor. And it's like I'm always nervous about making the perfect vegan meals, and we just basically meditate. One is from England and one is from India. So those are two of my monk brethren. And Taita obviously is a shaman. He's actually from the oldest shamanic family in the Amazon, and the Chindoys, and his father, who I also knew and worked with, died recently at 111 years old. So 5 generations of the medicine. This is when I used to produce for John Legend, and I produced Love One Another, that I did an entire thing for him. This was just part of the cast that I brought in for the shoot. This is the Olympic Nigel Houston, the greatest skateboarder in the world, in the front with the tattoos. That's John Legend's brother on the bottom there. You know, Michael Beckwith,
Yeah,
Dionne
I see.
Warwick.
There's the
Yeah,
Rev.
yeah, Dionne Warwick, Lou Gossett, Sugar Ray Leonard, Boys to Men, Art Evans. I basically was calling in. I called in friends. This is that's only one of the photos. The other one is with John and Alfre Woodard and that whole group. But here's something sort of amazing about that day. I brought that together because I wanted to bring awareness to gun violence. We had just gone through maybe the 5th major school shooting. And also in that video, Love One Another, are all of the kids from the preschool on to high school who survived the shooting and their parents. I also brought in the military to represent gun violence. I brought in the Congressional Black Caucus. I brought in Jesse Jackson. So it was a beautiful video. I brought everyone to the table so that we could discuss gun violence. And I was supposed to do a huge event with John and Coldplay at the time. I was producing music, and then COVID hit.
Wow.
And the concert was a month out, so everything stopped. So, but it was well worth just coming together for a number of days and bringing all of these warriors and parents who had lost their children to gun violence together. And we spent 4 days together creating that. So, yeah.
Piper,
My God, Piper, I totally did something with that song. I had no idea you produced that. John and I, the
Really?
last time we traveled with Unity Earth, which we're about to go to Japan, but we did a whole thing in the Middle East with that song. Like
You
we were
are kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. I had no idea you produced that.
I
And
did.
we were our Compassion Games organization. We did a whole I had this whole dance to it, and I got everybody to like went with
Hey,
the
love one another.
yeah,
That's
so
really
wild.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought it was going to be, we wanted it to be a world movement. And at the same time, I was co-writing with A.R. Rahman, who won the Oscar for composing Slumdog Millionaire, a number of Oscars. He's the
Yeah.
maestro of India, one of the greatest composers in the world. And I co-write with him at times. And I co-wrote and produced with him The Second We Are the World. And we had just finished taping that because when Michael Jackson, right before he died, he contacted A.R. Rahman and said, "You're the greatest composer in the world, and I want you to do the next We Are the World." And he waited all of this time, and then we all got together. And this was the same time I was producing for John Legend, and of course, COVID. So all of us
Yeah.
stayed unemployed for 3 years, except for
Yeah.
John.
Piper,
Like,
I need to come in for a moment because we've got someone who can only be in for a short amount of time.
Okay.
So I apologize for jumping in like this, but we've got two very special guests here. It's Gary Malkin and Miranda McPherson.
Yay!
Harry.
Hello, love of my life.
Gary, we can't hear you for some reason. You're not muted, but we're not hearing you. And while they figure that out, for anybody, all of us know Gary Malkin because he's a superstar, but Miranda McPherson is extraordinary. She's an amazing vocalist and musical artist and muse. I've attended multiple concerts of hers. And so, Miranda, I've been wanting to have you on this show forever.
Yeah, well,
So I'm glad you're here.
Can you hear us now?
should be
Now we
able to.
can. Yes, we
Yeah. So thank you. And I just got to say I've been so touched just by what I've heard. Piper, I didn't know anything about you, so this is my first encounter and I'm very moved by what I've heard. So love and blessings to you, and I hope we get to meet in person sometime. And thank you, Scott, for your warm welcome. Spiritual teacher, author is what I go by, and it's great to be here.
And I had the great honor, Piper, to produce and arrange and perform on her latest kirtan album called
Streams of Grace.
Streams of Grace, Music and Mantra Medicine for Yoga and Inner Peace. And it's beautifully focused on transmissive qualities. And I'll send you the link to the Spotify, but the best version is on her website. But anyway, I was here. We're talking about planning our next kirtan concert that'll be in 2025 before I moved to Asheville. And so I was here, and then Scott said, well, why don't you bring Miranda on also because this is one of these drop-in loose parties. But I'm so excited that you two are meeting because when you see the caliber of Piper's offerings, whatever she does,
I can already see.
she's
Yeah.
absolutely extraordinary. And for those of you about Piper, this story that I love telling is one day I'm just minding my own business, and I forgot that I had invited you to take a track from Autumn Stillness and apply it to some images, right? and I get this thing that it's a
No,
lot.
Gary, no. You sent all of this music and you said, Piper, this is for you to heal.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Autumn Stillness. Right. And then I get this, like Christmas morning, the gorgeous voice of Piper speaking these truths that were just piercing my heart and soul. They're so beautiful. And I just went, oh my God, did you improvise this? Did you write this? And they're just such beautiful transmissions that it gave me the inspiration as I was in Ibiza at the end of May. I went, oh my God, I wonder if she would consider giving a visual life to these 99 Days of Peace videos that we're creating with Sarah McCrum. And I'm still blown away by what you've done, Piper. And you guys, all of you that are in the audience, I need you to understand something. She was fighting for her life. And what she did to heal herself was to use the creation of these videos as her healing process. And within minutes, I made a request to change this cut, this shot, this, make this fader longer, this whatever. And she was like, I don't know how you did what you did with what you were going through, Piper, but it just showed me that you live, breathe, and embody transcendence, elevation, and beauty. And when you see all these 10 little films, I mean, these are with Sarah McCrum's words, but then these things you did to Autumn Stillness, my album, it's just like, it's just been a gift beyond words. And so thank you, Piper, for giving this such, I mean, I look at some of the visuals that you created. You know, the one thing we didn't have before in my Islands of Inner Peace is people, right? And we didn't have the language of people. And then you bring up these young, beautiful, vibrant, cheerful, beautiful, amazing, diverse groups of people that are working together, the future of humanity. You know, it's a whole other element that you brought in that my wisdom films haven't had before. It was all time-lapse nature. And it's just so perfect that you were the one to bring that forward.
Thank you, Gary. Yeah, thank you. I just felt very inadequate at that time because I was doing some of them from the hospital bed, and then some of them I had literally come out of surgery, and I was so concerned that he had a deadline, and I was like, shake yourself awake, just try to but what it actually did was it transmuted a lot of my pain and a lot of my allowing myself to fall into not feeling well. And thank you for the grace for the days where I said I'm not well today. And then it may be 4 a.m. I would be like, oh, I'm not in pain. And I would get up and finish.
It's unbelievable. What an amazing
But
gift.
it was so wonderful. Working with you has been a dream come true. As you know, I met you on Scott's show, and I had no idea that I was going to meet you on Scott's show. And you were the most transformative healer through your music and your films. I went through 3 years, and Dorina, this is for you. I was grieving my tree, my oak tree, my father, to such a degree that I remember saying, I understand now what it feels to have your breath taken away, because I just could not adequately find my breath. I could not breathe. And so, Dorina, first I want to say to you, and I've wanted to say since Scott and Omar Shar shared that I understand what you're going through, and we've never been in the world without our parents. We were birthed into their essence and their grace and their voice and their smell and their love and their presence. And it is going to be a difficult and long road, but a beautiful one. And I only got through it because I located these grief films that Gary created. And I didn't know him, and I played them literally on a loop on Gaia channel. And I'm saying on a loop, and I mean on a loop, for about 3 months. And I would lay in bed and scream cry. And I could almost memorize them as I slept, but I never turned them off because it was the only thing getting me through. And then Scott has this show, and he says, I have a special guest, Gary Malkin, and I'm not a guest. And I turned off my mute button so I could go, oh my God. Oh my God. I was freaking out. I mean, I felt like I just met Lady Diana or something. I mean, I was like,
You
"'Cause
made me
he's
feel
like
like
you were my superstar. I was so starstruck. I was so blown away. And
Hey, can you imagine how I feel? She knows A.R. Rahman. She knows all these amazing artists that she's producing, and she makes me feel like I walk on water.
you do walk on water. Oh my gosh. But thanks to Scott. Scott has a way to listening to spirit and interweaving. Scott, you make the most extraordinary dream catchers for humanity.
It's a
And
beautiful way to
you
say it. Oh,
catch
that's a
all
quote.
of our dreams.
You got to keep that quote. Say it one more time. That's amazing. You make the most extraordinary dream catcher. And then what
He
did you say?
does. He interweaves. He listens to the spirit and he starts weaving in humanity and love and grace and selflessness. And he brings people and he interweaves. And you are a manifestation even of our silent dreams. You had no idea what a dream it was for me to meet Gary, because that was a healing ascension. It was an evolution. It was a gift from my father and from my heavenly father to meet him that day.
Oh,
I
honey.
knew that. And Scott, you just have a way. And Gary, if you only knew what you do and what you've done for people grieving, it is that was gifted to you as one of your purposeful destinies in this earth. And Dorina, I would say to you, do not miss his medicine when it comes to grief and healing. It will transform and transcend where you are right now, my sweet. I love
Oh,
you.
sweetie. Thank you. Well, Scott, can we play one of those films I gave you? And
Absolutely.
then
Which one? I downloaded all three. Which one should we play?
because this is close to the end, you could use, we haven't yet shared any of the ending completing videos, but then there was the last one might work as well. Yeah.
So
Let's
the
do
one that's called
these for Dorina. Yes.
the one that's called The End of the Gathering.
I forget even how that works. So maybe Piper can weigh in on which one.
Oh, I was thinking he was going to play your grief films, the ones with Thich Nhat Hanh and Deepak Chopra for Dorina.
That's Islands of Inner Peace on Gaia. And
Islands.
it's on YouTube as well. So you can find that out. And I'll put that in the chat. But you know
Oh.
what, Scott, just play whatever. Just whatever.
Okay, so let's set this up for a moment. Piper will come back to you in a moment. So Gary has a wonderful new venture that he's created, and he comes up with the most amazing titles: Streams of Grace and
Oh,
Trans.
That's me.
That's her.
I know that. I know. I'm saying he has amazing, titles and amazing creations. Collaborating with Miranda with Streams of Grace, collaborating with Sarah McCrum with Transformances. And so now is his latest venture, or one of many, because he's always doing a lot. Experience the power of presence through portals of awe. And there are 10 videos that you've created, and we're going to premiere a couple of them tonight. So with that as a lead-in, Gary, what else do you want our audience to know?
Well, just, one of the things that we have not acknowledged is the elephant under the rug in the culture is that most people's presence gives lip service to presence, but it's very much neck up. And all we have to do is talk and sound interesting, but we haven't tuned our energy. This is one of the reasons I study with Miranda, to actual presence that allows your ego to relax into a capacity where your heart and your soul and your somatic intelligence comes online as equal jewels in the crown of the creation, in partnership with our linear minds, but not dominated by them. So when we gave 10 films for Unity Earth and the Compassion Games, these concept of a 2-minute film before the beginning of a Zoom call, it created an experiment where we could wonder what happens when everyone is together, allowing the power of biophilia, time-lapse image of nature that you've seen on Piper's work, the spaciousness of music that awakens you to a deeper breath and it dilates time, and then uses wisdom as a way to drop you in so that you can feel with your head and think with your heart, right? And this integration is the experiment that is what I'm calling Transformances Portals of Awe, is what if we begin, when things start at the beginning of these Zoom calls, we start with 2 minutes, but if something starts to get too dry from too much language, the leader of a call will say, let's create some beauty here. Let's irrigate this context with a little heart and soul, right? And that's what these short films, 1 to 3 minutes, are a way to experiment with what happens when our cells and our atoms and our consciousness all meld together into beauty, letting beauty have her way with us. So listen to, this is the ones that are dedicated to the 40th day anniversary of the International Day of Peace. And this is the massive contribution that Piper made that gave it visual life, that nobody would see these, nobody would hear these if it didn't have these beautiful images to bathe in.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the one called Let's Come Together in Peace.
Okay.
I haven't even seen them yet, but this is perfect because we do have the global.
And just so you know,
Oh, Gary just froze on that. Just so you know, and it's Gary, you've frozen. So I'm going to play the video while you guys hopefully come back online.
oh, did you freeze? No. There you are. Yeah.
Let's come together in peace. Let's practice peace as we spend our time in this community. Let's create a space where many voices may be heard, where differences may be expressed, where there's room for the full range of human dynamics. And all of it, and each one of us, is received in peace. Where we unite with each other around the fundamental value of being peaceful. So let's open this meeting. Let's connect with each other. Let's each one of us bring peace together. Let's unite for peace.
Wow. Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and you know, it's the simple things in life that help us get back to the innocence, reclaiming our innocence with that spaciousness of these children's faces. Piper, I love that you did that. So beautifully done.
Yeah, I agree. I loved, you know, the blend of images of nature and beautiful images of people in a very natural, open state that I think without the images of the people in it, it would have been a little too generic.
Exactly.
So it brought something very human and personal to it that was really exquisite. Deep bow, deep bow.
You know, it's a good opportunity to do a quick reminder that on September 21st, which is, I think, 4 weeks from today, there's going to be, or no, 3 weeks from today, is the International Day of Peace. And there's a huge worldwide celebration. Omashar will be in Japan with our Unity Earth friends, including Summer. I'm going to bring you up, Summer, as well. And I've been asked by Peter Young to host the online program from San Francisco. So for any of you in the Bay Area, make sure you're in San Francisco. Come to City Hall. We're going to have it. Piper, you got to come if at all possible. We have Maria Moldar and amazing musical artists. And it's going to be a big event, and we'll be carrying it all day long on Awakening World, connected to the Hubcast broadcast. It's going to be a 24-hour broadcast, kind of like a summer dance-a-thon, only this is going to be video of what's going on all around the world. We'll see Omashar in Japan. We'll see friends in New York. I'll be interviewing all the people in San Francisco, which, Piper, that'll be the perfect day for you and I to finally meet in person. That'll work. So anyway, September 21st, get to the Bay Area. And if you can't get to the Bay Area or New York or Japan, be ready to be online all day. Gary, I want to show one more. Tell us, is there anything you want to say about the end of the gathering? Do you want to say?
I haven't seen this one since we made it.
Okay, I'll just show it.
I'm
Here
kind
we
of
go.
forgetting now. So.
All
And I
right.
don't remember either. I just
Well, let's take a look at the genius that you created.
As we come to the end of our gathering, there is much work that lies ahead. In the journey towards peace. And so let's stop for a moment. Let's rest together. Let's reflect on what we've learned and what we've shared. The connections that have been made. And let's be thankful that we are in this together. That we have the capacity to truly unite in the name of peace. That may spread across our world. And touch every member of our human family.
I remember now. I was really focused on humanity being the tree of life.
Oh my God, Piper, that gave me the chills. I forgot how good that one was. I loved that one. Thank you. I really feel, everybody think of this, whether you have a family of 4 or a gathering of 1,000, when you can give a experience like that to your community, that really feels the bounty of gratitude from being together. And you create an opportunity. The music and the images worked so perfectly. And honestly, Hi Piper, we have to find the one that you did on peace. That was to one of my, not for tonight, but with one of my Autumn Stillness tracks, because it was with Piper speaking, but it was 11 minutes long. So it's too long for now, but it's amazing. So many more riches. I will have to figure out a way to put that on the portalsofawe.com slide so people can experience that, especially
Gary,
this season.
please tell people how they can, I'm going to put it into the chat box, but tell people about Portals of Awe, how it works, how people can get these videos.
Thank you. Yeah. At first this was created just for the Unity Earth Compassion Games International Day of Peace, Pathways to Peace. It was created to make it easy for everyone to claim themselves as a leader of their, a steward of their calls, right? And I suddenly started sharing this link to everybody I know, because when are you on a Zoom when you just, my dream would be that there would be a practice where we all started to recognize that we weren't as fully engaged. We're using our minds too much. We weren't as fully engaged in our hearts and souls. Who wouldn't want a moment of beauty just to kind of reconstitute ourselves to what matters most? So we created this platform, Portals of Awe, which is my upcoming subscription site that I'm going to be building in the next 4 months. But this is a way of accessing yourself as a steward, and you have 60 days free access to these videos. When the 60 days run out, you can become a subscription member. You can get your community to put your own logo on the front and the end of these as you use it as a branding opportunity. And then you can also just find out more about how Piper and how we can all create custom videos just for you, right? Piper, we can get commissioned to create custom work, right? So it's beautiful, and it's going to be expanding, and we're going to be putting the summer, you know, the ones we did 10 years, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. They're so beautiful, right? So we're going to put those, make them as available as well on the portalsofawe.com. And I'm really proud of the site. It's beautiful and it's easy, and you download it, and all you need to do is give your lead generation. You don't have to pay anything, just right away. So I made it
But
super
Gary,
easy.
I'm going to interrupt there for our his Portals of Awe, Scott, since we are in this huge political dynamic explosion of the divine feminine and what it is that we're ushering in. He has one of them on there, different from the rest, is called Enough is Enough. And it's only 2 minutes. Can you find that on his Portals of Awe?
I actually didn't send it to him because he hasn't signed. Scott hasn't signed up yet for Portals
Actually,
of Awe.
Gary,
Shame
I
on you,
did.
Scott.
Gary, just so you know, I signed up, and it's even when you sign up, I haven't been able to access the videos.
Oh, that's not. I don't want to hear that online.
I just
Don't
sent it
tell
to you,
people
Scott.
that.
I just sent it to you, Scott. I texted it to you.
Okay, let me
I
pull it.
think this is going to get us encouraged again and back to hope, because we are fixing all of this divisiveness and this vitriol and this hatred and this.
But
Yeah.
you know, Piper, I want to say
Fascism.
something about this. There is some disagreement in the spiritual community that because we're all aware of the problem solution template, that when you begin with these images that are hard to look at and they're painful and they're violent, many people say, I don't want to see that, right? And it adds an energy. I feel when you can look at these images of violence and dissension and pain with the eyes of compassion and love, it has its place in a spiritual platform like this.
Of course it does,
Absolutely.
because
So Miranda had
because
something to say.
authentic spirituality doesn't just try to hold on to only light. It sees through everything, sees what is the deeper truth and how do we be with everything. I actually have a free video on my website called How to Practice Ego Relaxation While Watching the News. And I invite people to
love that.
actually come into their bodies and open their hearts and pay attention to what's going on in the world and regard all the difficult things as humanity's prayer list, and open your heart to be with it and relate to it as ours, not theirs and mine, our prayer list, and then be willing to show up and take action and vote with intelligence and love.
So Miranda, people are asking how to get that. So let's
Go to my website on my homepage.
I've got it.
On
So
the homepage of my website, scroll down, keep scrolling down. Oh, look at all the videos by where there's lots of good ones. But you should keep going. You see there's a lot there. Okay, so now Why the World Needs More Grace, that video. So underneath there's a scroll button. And if you scroll on these ones here underneath, it'll come up. I made it years ago. No, you were there. Go back up. So see these videos here, Why the World Needs More Grace?
got it.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah, okay. So here it is, ego relaxation with the news. There you go.
Put that in the chat box, okay? In the chat
Yeah.
box.
And by the
Absolutely.
way-
That's why we pulled it up.
And by the way, I created that 8 years ago, like
Yeah.
before, well, Trump was president, just got in, but I really feel very strongly that the kind of spirituality we need here does not separate the social, the political, the spiritual. A human soul inhabits and overflows the body. So a soul isn't separate from your heart and your mind and your body. It's your consciousness that is permeating everything, and there's no part of a human being that isn't holy. And this is a time not only for waking up, but also showing up.
Absolutely.
And by
And we
the
have
way,
to fight all of this with love.
Yeah, and
you
be
made it
present
vibrant.
and understand it, but rise
Yeah.
up and take action.
Absolutely. Scott, does it play?
Yes, so are you guys ready? I'm gonna play Enough is Enough. Here we go.
Great.
I haven't had time to download and upload it, but I think it'll play okay directly from YouTube. So here we go.
Enough is enough. I'm done with all of this. We've been talking about peace for so long, and yet it seems that all we do is fight and rush around and judge each other and criticize each other and worry and live in a constant atmosphere of stress, divided, confused, and sad. And there's no peace in that. And so I say, enough is enough. We've been waiting so long for other people to make peace for us, and it's never worked. And so now it must be time to make peace for others. It's time for us to step forward, to do the thing that we never dared to do before, to stand for peace, to step forward in peace, to share peace in our families, in our communities, in the small spaces in the world where we live our lives. So let's come together and unite for peace. Let's say that we are the ones who can do this. Let's know inside ourselves that together we have the power, that peace is in our hands.
Oh, Piper, I so love you. Thank you, dear. Beautiful, beautiful. I think that was the world premiere, by the way, for that film, because no one's
Wow.
really seen it. Yeah,
I don't even know if we used it, but I
we
just,
have it.
I
We
loved
have it.
that. I loved that. And I really appreciate that it does include, the fact of suffering. And I really think it's important, and I haven't seen much that is utilizing and including that too. And so I'm really grateful.
unifying us as one family around the globe.
Yeah, but acknowledging the suffering, acknowledging the difficulties of these times and what we all go through and the shapes and forms that takes. And beautiful. Thank you. I'm going to have to
Yeah.
disappear. So I just want to say this has been a privilege to hear you and meet you and speak to you. And Scott, thank you for having me here. And
Absolutely.
thank you, everyone. And have a beautiful rest of your evening. Much love.
Absolutely.
I'll stick on for 1 minute to 1 minute more.
And I know Summer Joy needs to go. So Summer Joy, your final
Ooh,
thoughts.
I do, and it was so wonderful. I just could swim in all of these films. I think that maybe a next layer to these dances that are from the Garden of Joy is just using these videos, Gary and Piper, and oh yeah.
Well, if
And
out of this summer, if out of this, we can create a culture that acknowledges that we might look we're engaged, but for us to actually deepen our engagement by allowing beauty to drop us in together. I'm so grateful that you have partnered as you have, you and John and Ben and the whole Unity Earth community, to really, really create this collaboration in a way that would really help this next month as we lead into the 40th anniversary. So thank you for being such a big part of it in the way you.
oh, thanks, Gary. Yes. And it's just such an extraordinary reason to all come together again for Piper. And I was just looking at the fundraiser and we're almost to 10,000. So I know that is the goal for tonight. And I just wanted to shed light back on the GoFundMe and just so you know, Piper, the next dance I'm going to do just a few days before flying to Japan is going to be a dance for Kamala. And it's been a really interesting, challenging time around how I'm navigating just all the political differences and challenges. But I want you to know what I decided in a deep meditation is to actually dedicate fundraising for an 8-hour dance on 9/11 to Kamala, but to fundraise for the Ungun Institute, Dr. Marty K. Casey, who's a very dear friend. She's quite a fan of yours as well. I just want to say, I don't know if you know about her, but I will be with her in Japan. But I've decided that the work that she does is connected to I feel the direction Kamala is taking our country. And I'm dedicating fundraising to the Ungun Institute and Dr. Marty K. Casey. So that'll be happening on 9/11, just a few days before we head to Japan. Yeah, so the dances will not stop. They are unstoppable.
What time on September 11th is the dance going to be?
Yeah, so it'll be starting working with the pattern of 9/11. As we did with Piper, we were on the 22nd working with the twos. So we'll be working within 1:11 Pacific to 9:11 p.m. So it'll be an 8-hour experience. Dr. Marty K. Casey will be joining us in the first hour, and we'll just be really shedding light on yes, for our country, the US, and fundraising for the Ungun Institute. And yeah, it just feels like a really beautiful weaving over these 99 days of peace through unity to be focusing on these different organizations and people, Piper, that we need to, we need the people, we need presidents, we need everybody, for a brighter direction for our country. And I really believe that Kamala is a part of that, along with so many extraordinary organizations and people like the Global Peace Tribe that need to thrive and be abundant.
You know what's really cool?
The democratic organizations, but so anyways,
I've been wanting to do a 24-hour Healers for Harris event. That's nothing more than meditation, drumming, music, high frequency. I mean, we just stay and vibrate.
Let's do it.
Yes, I want to do that. And I just want to say, I see beloved Deborah Juliet is on. I saw her in the gallery. And I just have to say, she has literally been sacredly healing me selflessly almost, well, not almost, twice a week, to the point where the cells have stopped proliferating and the masses have not grown. And I just saw your face and I wanted to say thank you for being so dedicated without ceasing to healing my body. And it makes me want to cry because even my oncologists are like, what's happening? And she has not ceased. She'll just call and say, right now. And we're doing this twice a week until I hear from your cells that they are well. And I want to thank you just for being here. And I love you. And thank you, Scott, just for introducing this angel into my life. But when I just saw your face, I wanted to start sobbing because I'm so grateful that the three of you, when I look, and of course I see Gary, which really makes the four of you, but but Scott, Summer, and Deborah and Gary, caring so much about someone who you've never met and pouring so much love into my life is extraordinary. And there are no words to know that this kind of selfless humanity still exists. I just love you all so much. And the fact that you're here right now, Deborah, I don't have words how much I love you. And thank you. Your medicine is working. Is working.
And she's surrounded in white, which was the color that I just want to point that out, Piper. All that white that she's
Right.
generating.
I saw her beautiful face in the gallery and I went,
Deborah,
oh gosh.
anything you'd like to say? If you want to unmute and share anything?
Yeah, I'm not so much a friend of many words. I just I'm so grateful to see such beautiful faith, beloved Piper, that you have, and in God, in yourself, and in life. And I saw this right away when I saw you for the first time. And you remember how Natalie and we were in there together. We're like, we got to save her. She's special. And yeah, it has just been a very, I knew that if you have the faith, of course we will heal everything. And I just want to say thank you for letting that happen. You're an inspiration, and you will be a great inspiration for humanity. I know that. So you're finally, or no, you have always been walking in your father's footsteps. But as you know, I feel he is particularly proud of you right now.
Beautiful.
And thank you, Gary, and thank you, Gary. I love you so much, you know that. And thank you, beloved Scott. You Gary, the day you came to Ashland, I'll never forget. It was an amazing weekend. Thank you so much. And for supporting beloved Piper. Thank you, Scott, so much. Thank you, both of you, all of you.
I love you guys. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Gary. And speaking of supporting Piper, I want to acknowledge our Global Peace Tribers that have contributed to her just tonight. We're very close to that $10,000 mark. Thank you, Sherry Anderson. Thank you, Carol Jaffe. Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Jeffrey Colebrook. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Miriam. And then we're still getting to the people from previously. So thank you very much. We're very close. We just need about another $150. I'm kind of waiting for you guys to do it. If you don't, I'll pop it in because I want to make sure we get to that $10,000 mark. Thank you again so much, Deborah.
Miriam is here. I'm in shock. So I met Miriam in Colombia in the Amazon, healing together for those 30 days. And wow. Anyway, I love her so much. And I don't know how she found this.
Well, miracles abound.
Yes, miracles abound.
I think Gary left, but I do want to let people know about his other website because Gary is so prolific. It's extraordinary all that he creates. And you can find his wonderful work at wisdomoftheworld.com, wisdomoftheworld.com. And that's where you can find work. Look at all the people he's worked with: Ram Dass, Deepak, Michael Beckwith, Lynn Twist, all of our favorite people. Gary has collaborated with them. So Go to Wisdom of the World. Also, you'll find the Neil Rogan videos that somebody was asking about that we had on this show recently. And Piper, I think it's time for an Omashar song. What do you think? Yeah?
Always time for an Omar Shar. And every time I see Eleanor Joy, I just have to tell her I love her. And I see her. I love you, Eleanor Joy.
Well, there she is. Hopefully she'll at least they're eating dinner. You caught her eating dinner. But there she is, and I'm sure
love her.
She'll be moving and grooving, if not and on the thing, at least on the couch. Oh, she's getting up. There she goes. All right. She's ready to dance.
She's my inspiration to heal.
And I think Wowza,
healing all of us.
Wowza, I see you're here. So you also are somebody who always moves and grooves to the music. So anyway,
Scott, you're at $34 away from 10,000. $34.
Yes. All right. Who wants to do that final 34? If nobody else does, I will. Omar, take it away, brother.
One with all feeling, and one with all love, one with all healing, and one with all. I am one with all feeling, and one with all love. One with all healing, and one with all. I felt alone for oh so many years, held my head high to hide the pain. Nowhere to turn, so to myself again I tune my heart to the mother. I am one with all feeling, and one with all love, one with all healing, and one with all. I am one with all feeling, and one with all love, one with all healing, and one with all. The time has come to wake my sleepy head and peel back the sheets of illusion. The time has come to lift my voice once more and sing the songs of the new world. I am one with all feeling, and one with all love, one with all healing, and one with all. And I am one with all feeling, and one with all love, one with all healing, and one with all. Da, 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 We are one with all feeling, and one with all love, one with all healing, and one with all. We are one with all feeling, and one with all love, one with all healing, and one with all. The time has come.
Let's give a big twinkle to our beloved brother, Omar Shar. Love you so much, Omar Shar. Absolutely magnificent. Perfect song for tonight, as always. And a reminder that we can support Omar Shar by getting his albums. And you do that by going to omarshar.bandcamp.com. omarshar.bandcamp.com.
See, Piper, there's Bandcamp.
That's right, Piper.
It's really simple, and if you want someone to help you compile it and put it on there, I'll do that for you. So,
oh, that's a good offering there. A couple things that I want to just let people know, and then we've got another special guest, Swami Beyondananda, and his alter ego Steve Berriman are in the house. So we're going to bring them up in just a moment. But, you know, we were talking about Summer Joy doing her next dance-a-thon on September 11th, which, of course, is a significant day that many of us have a memory of. Well, it just so happens that's a Wednesday night. It's an Awakening World night. And we are going to be premiering the Founding Mothers Movement that night. This is going to be a big event. Look at all the guests that we've got. The Founding Mothers is a very powerful new movement. Again, it's time to put women in charge. And so you're going to be meeting some extraordinary women that have put together this organization, and they're having their debut here on the Awakening World on Wednesday night, September 11th. So it's perfect. We will start dancing with Summer at 11:11, take a little break, watch the show, and then come back to Summer to conclude. So September 11th is going to be a powerful, powerful day. Piper, do you know Swami Beyondananda? Do you know who this wonderful being is? Where'd Piper go? She must have clicked off her camera. All right, well, we will bring up Steve Berriman.
I'm back.
Oh, there you are.
There I am.
Do you know?
And there you are. Good to see you, Piper. Oh my goodness.
That's what happened. Oh, sorry.
Oh wow. You're getting your daily dose of peptides, huh?
I love that.
And phytochemicals too. Phytochemicals. Both of those. Hey pup. Hey pup. You know, I really love the Founding Mothers idea because, as the Swami would say, when you only have men in government, you know what you got? A stagnation. So, so we're gonna let the women make a donation and balance things out. You know, it on the serious side, as probably many people know, when the Founding Fathers, you know, launched everything, they took a lot of our government structures from the Iroquois Nation. You know, like the balance of powers and the you know, the Congress and so on. What they didn't take was the Council of Grandmothers, and the Council of Grandmothers at that point in the Iroquois Nation, they the elder women were the ones who decided when the tribe went to war. And so if you see how since that time, in the past 250 years or so, how we've managed to weave ourselves out of the web of love and web of life, there you have it. So I'm really glad to see that this thing is being balanced. You know, I don't know if Rianne Eisler has been on this program or not, but a lot of people are familiar she wrote about the partnership society. And that's really, the power of collaboration. And I think that's what this is bringing. It's not about boys and girls. It's about bringing in that balanced power of collaboration where nobody is dominating. So really glad to see that that's happening.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, while you're with us, I'm bringing Piper back up because I've got some exciting news. It happened. We have cleared the $10,000 mark. Thank you to the anonymous donor that just made that happen. And thank you, Morgane. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Christy Michaels. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Ayato. Thank you, Bonnie. Those all have come in since we last looked at it. And you are now over 10,000, but really because of our other donor that agreed to match dollar for dollar, and she said that her money will come in about one more week, we will have reached the $15,000 goal that we set when I started the GoFundMe for you. And so, how's that feel, Piper?
Oh my gosh, actually feels like a miracle. And I know that I'm going to need to also create a platform based on this, and the platform really being around insurance and medical bills and how we're treated at a certain age, and the extraordinary amounts of finances that they expect you to have resource to when a real illness occurs. And it's almost an impossibility to survive and to get all of the medical treatment and medications and that you need, and even to get holistic help and healing. It's the doors don't open there because insurance companies don't assist or provide for that. And so it's quite a miracle. I'm really blessed because I have this community loving me through these doors, but I know that there's going to be a definite need to be on the forefront, that I'm receiving this as a part of a mission, I know, so that we can find healing and help and resource for so many others that don't have, the Global Peace Tribe or people that love them to help usher in their health. And there's so many of us out there who are swallowed whole by the bills that do come in, surgery after surgery and scan after scan and pill after pill. And so I'm very, very grateful. I'm very, very grateful. And to all of you, the deepest, deepest gratitude. But let's also keep our eyes and hearts and voting open, because there are millions of people that are in need of care that won't be able to get the care that even I'm getting.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. And Steve, do you have any thoughts about what she just had to say? I know that.
Well, I think that we have the most expensive medical system in the world, and unfortunately, the results are not really at the top. And I think it really has to do with basically because it's about money, and that's the bottom line. And so the money, I remember when doctors had their little satchels, and they'd come to your house, and they were individual proprietors. They were people who were serving the community, and now everything has become aggregated and agglomerized into this system. And the doctors are employees, and there's a lot of different prices that they charge. My wife was looking at some hearing aids, and there were all of these different prices based on how much you could pay, how much they could get out of you. And it's not that it's not just the care that costs money, it's the top-heavy system where it's a system where people are profiting from illnesses. And I think there just needs to be a bigger look at that entire system. I think that it's a captured system. I don't think there's any one particular political party who's that's going to really be able to help without getting all of the people in this country who are ready for this change behind it. It's really way beyond the system, because unfortunately the system is controlled by those people who make money either selling us manufactured food that makes us ill, and then at the end, treating us. In high intervention medicine, that is necessary. There are certain times when you really have to have that.
Absolutely. And most
You
people,
know?
most of us can't even afford, you have to shift everything into a holistic diet, and everything needs to be organic. And
Yeah. Oh.
if there's so many necessary routes if you're going to survive. And even those routes are so expensive. We talked about it the last time Scott did this beautiful gifting for me. And just after my first surgery and my first 4 days in the hospital, and I had 5 after that, I got a $67,000 bill, and I got it in end of January, and it said pay in full by February 4th. I kept thinking, I kept looking at it and sort of thinking, this can't be real. This can't be real. And it was because I chose to go to a specialist that I did not know wasn't in my I don't know what you call it. They give you a list of doctors that you can
Yeah.
go to.
Acceptable.
Yeah, and I didn't know because it was the surgeon that met me in the emergency room. So I continued to go. No one let me know until I was almost at $200,000 in bills.
Wow.
And it was, and I just went, that's it. There's no way to survive this. Where is this resource coming from? And it became so overwhelming that the stress and the trauma that comes with that is almost more difficult in the progression of illness, because you are in such a state of, this is impossible. You have to decide between lights and food or a car or helping your children. I mean, it really got that extreme. And I was being pretty mutilated in all the surgical processes. I mean, as Scott knows, I mean, they also stopped caring about the fact that I was a person, that I was a woman. And I really felt like somebody, like a sushi chef, uh, put me on the table and just started hacking. And I mean, just the mutilation alone is so extreme. And it was like nobody was caring for me as a human being. It was through the surgical processes, through the finances, through all aspects of it. I felt completely unseen and uncared for. And it strips away your humanity for sure. So there's a lot that we have to do to heal this in our humanity. And we also have to bring holistic doctors to the forefront. Beating big pharma is a big necessity, because there are ways for us to heal. But who can afford $14,000 in retreats around the world? Every time you're trying to heal your temple. But
I want to read a few of the comments that have come in from our audience about this. Carol Craig writes, "This is such a horrible system. The USA is the only industrial nation without universal health care." Julia writes, "Money is now worshipped instead of the true wealth. It will destroy itself as we learn to heal through the healing modalities without government or medical organizations." Carol Craig also writes, "When she was in Colombia, the Colombian system cost her nothing." Sherry Anderson writes, "I'm forced to buy a prescription plan at $500 a year, and it has not paid 1 cent for any of my prescriptions." Beatrice wrote, "I read a recent Medicare statement and was shocked at the fee for taking my temperature, $49.75 to take her temperature." It's crazy.
it's crazy. The first set of medications they gave me, and it was for 3 days, was $13,000. I kept thinking I was reading this wrong. I was like, this has to be a typo. $13,000. Like, I thought people are just going to die. It's just a system that leaves you, sorry. And
well, we're gonna swing into something a little bit more inspiring,
way more positive.
That is, I want to play. Kristen Hoffman is, like you and Gary Malkin, just one of our most beloved Global Peace Tribe presenters. And she, of course, did a pair of songs for you on August 22nd. So let's leave the horror of the medical world for now. And we will come back to Swami and Steve a little bit later too, if you can stick around. But let's hear what Kristen Hoffman had to share in our fundraiser for you tonight. And but we're going to continue the music and the dancing, and this is our other co-host for the evening. And Kristen has been such a big part of putting all of this together. She is the woman who really created and brought together ACE. She is our den mother. And so I'm going to turn it over to beloved Kristen Hoffman.
Oh, so much love. That was absolutely exquisite. And just continuing this flow of love and gratitude for you, Piper. And I also am noticing it is 6:22 p.m., which is the kind of culmination of this 4-hour dance that has been weaving through the day, held so lovingly by Summer Joy. So I just want to dedicate this piece, Om Shanti, which I know Piper loves, to both just loving Piper's heart up and just honoring the incredible container, Summer, that you've held today with so much love. Oh, I'm just feeling it so much. And I just want to just dedicate this Om Shanti blessing to bless this just love space. And thank you for holding Piper today through the day, Summer. Here we go.
It's been a real honor.
This
Love
is
you.
a new backing
Love
track.
you so much. This is my favorite song ever. I have played it for like 3 years straight.
I've been working on a new backing track. It's still in the works, but this is where it's at so far. So I'll share. There's some strings. There's going to be more instrumentation still giving birth, but it's coming along. to your body, Om Shanti, to your beautiful mind, Om Shanti, to your emotional body, Om Shanti, to your bright, beautiful soul, Om Shanti, and to that great, great, great eternal spirit, Om Shanti.
Kristen really wanted to be here tonight, but she'd previously booked something else. But she sent a text message sending lots and lots of love to you, Piper, and a big hello to her Global Peace Tribe family.
I don't think I've ever heard something so beautiful. Christine calls down heaven. That voice, that depth, that soul, that song just pierces through everything. Oh my gosh, I just can't get enough of that. Scott, thank you for playing that again.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to play something else. In a moment, I'm going to play the beautiful experience that Keishi Chai created for you, and also Charles' poem. Those are two other things that we're going to do tonight. But I want to read a few comments from the audience. Tarina writes, "What a blessing in the open Kristen is, and you and we all are sharing in the beauty in and out in divine grace. Om Shanti." And yes, Kathy says, definitely the voice of an angel. About a half dozen people talking about her. She's an angel. And absolutely, absolutely. That was a little bit of what we needed to shift gears. If Steve Barron is still with us, I do want to give Steve a chance to share anything else he'd like to share before we go on to Charles' poetry.
Wow, that was I'm I'm unmuted. I'm speechless after that amazingly beautiful tune. And I'm tempted, and I've given temptation quite a bit, particularly because of the music and the need for healing. I'm tempted to do something rather daring.
Go for it. Whatever.
I think I'm gonna channel Bobby Darin singing his song for healing. Can I do that?
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
Okay, it goes like this. Somewhere beyond disease, somewhere bodies are free. Someday we'll fly forever high and never again bodies failing. Somewhere beyond disease, high above low frequencies. Together we'll play on non-judgment day, and never again I'll go ailing. It's far beyond the stars, it's here right where we are. I know beyond the doubt, it's out beyond karma. We'll greet all other souls. Behold that we are whole. Happy we'll be beyond disease, and never again bodies failing. No more ailing. No more ailing, just soul sailing beyond disease, beyond disease, beyond disease.
Woohoo! Hey, let's all go to gallery view and give a twinkle for that one. That was fun. How many of you remember Bobby Darin?
I don't know. I mean, I channel people, and he wanted to come through, and so I just gave right in. I wish you so much of the best on your journey, and I'm glad that the coffers are starting to get filled, and may you heal completely and share that with other people so that they're empowered in this particular, the new word is situation that has to do with the medical system. So And then also, just to let you know that I'm going to put this in the
I think you're probably going to where I was going to go next.
yeah,
And
yeah, there it is.
you pulled
Yeah,
it.
yeah, we're doing a show and in San Geronimo in Marin County coming up in September 21st. It's a culmination of the entire week of peace. We could use a week of peace. And anyway, and I'm also perhaps going to be on the road next year to bring love and laughter to whoever wants it. These are times when we need to laugh together or else we're going to cry separately. And it means laughing beyond the political divide, beyond that divide and conquer baloney that keeps us from coherently solving the problems that we're here to solve. So I want to use love and laughter to bring people together, because the Swami says there are no sides, only angles. When we see it from the right angle, we're all on the same side. So that's the vibe that I'm hoping that people on the call, in whatever domain they are, begin that vibe. Don't get bought into narratives, Swami says, truth lives in our heart, beliefs lie in the head, so don't let them lie in your head anymore. So, thanks.
Beautiful. Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much for dropping in. And
namaste, namasko.
I love that one. I use that all the time.
You should. Everybody should use it.
All the time.
Piper, good to meet you again. Bye.
Piper, one of our other ACE members is Charles Gibbs. And I had the funniest dream last night. I dreamt that I was working in Washington, D.C. to help usher in the new president, and Charles Gibbs was the president.
Oh my God.
I swear to God, that's the dream I woke up to this morning. So it was bizarre, kind of a strange dream. I'm going to have to.
Kind of beautiful because he reflects all of this depth.
Mm-hmm.
He is such a visionary. I'm so in love with the Swami.
Oh yeah, yeah. We love Steve. He's.
Oh my God! Thank you, Mr. Darren.
All right, let's take a look. This is Charles Gibbs, who wrote this poem for you.
I don't know, Scott, if there's a way to get Piper a little larger. I can see a little tiny rectangle with her at the top. Ah, there she is. Piper, this is a poem for you, for the light, love, the sacrifice, the extraordinary heart you presence in this world through who you are and what you do. And hopefully to have all that flowing back to you from all those people, known and unknown, whose lives you have touched, whose transformation you have helped move along. May all that reflect back to you as light and love and transformation. This is a poem called Welcome Home. Welcome Home, and it is dedicated to you, Piper. Because we humans are forgetful, we spend a lifetime on Earth relearning what we knew before we drew our first breath. Because we humans are forgetful, we spend a lifetime on Earth relearning what we knew before we drew our first breath. Our true home is the heart of absolute love. Our true home is the heart of absolute love. We emerge into this world so tender, so vulnerable, so ill-equipped for the storms of life, yet still tethered to that true home, to the heart, to absolute love. Unlike seeds that for decades lie dormant, only in an instant to blossom. To thrive, we require instant and daily infusions of love. To thrive, we require instant and daily infusions of love, if not absolute, at least imperfectly human. Imperfectly human as we are, do we dare to share that love with the wounded of this world, beginning with ourselves? Imperfectly human as we are, do we dare to share that love with the wounded of this world, beginning with ourselves? Do we dare? Wounded and forgetful as we are, with a lifetime of grace, may we remember what we knew before we drew our first breath. The heart of absolute love pulsing in us and through us is our true home. The heart of absolute love pulsing in us and through us is our true home. Welcome home.
What's it like for you seeing that another time, Piper?
It allows me really to drink up what Omashar said earlier about watching this transformation, this ascension, this evolutionary process that he was bearing witness to. And I realize now that the film that you showed at the beginning, the film I did about the journey home, was a beautiful mirror to this poem. And I wonder if some of the seeds of inspiration were dropped into the fertility of me a week ago, because it is so reflective. What it does again is it is a communication of validation that I am on the road home, and that home is right in front of me, right inside of me, and that this is the right path, and that he welcomes me home is a sweet confirmation of where I am already. And whoever wrote the "Be Here Now" again, earlier, you read that. The now, this place, this moment is home.
Wow.
That's...
All right. Well, we got more, a little bit more. This is the beautiful Keishi Chai. She's a regular on our show, and she put together something very special for you as well. Dance and something for you as well. And take it away, Keishi.
Thank you so much, Scott. Oh my God, I'm so uplifted by this incredible night. I'm just also digesting Charles' amazing poem. I see him on the same level as Rumi, so thank you, Charles, for that beautiful poem. And Piper, your last couple of sentences is something I want to springboard off about changing your mental patterns. I wanted to bring two beautiful books into our space, which is by You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. This was gifted to me when I was a teenager and struggling with addiction, and it really changed my life. And I am so grateful for it. I also see one of my teachers that I had when I was a teenager, Michael Wall. He's here. Big shout out to Michael. Thank you so much for coming. He's a magnificent man and a beautiful soul, and it means so much that you're here, Michael. He also changed my life. And this book, which I already have on Kindle for many, many years, I literally stumbled across this on the street in Queens earlier this year. And this was meant to be in my life to share with you all today. And Louise Hay is somebody who had cancer and healed herself by changing her thought patterns. And related to cancer is the thought pattern of, let's see, what can cause cancer is deep hurt and long-standing resentment. And the new thought pattern that I encourage you, Piper, to adopt if you're open to it is I lovingly forgive and release all of the past. I choose to fill my world with joy. I love and approve of myself. So I'm going to put this into the chat. And I will dance, and I hope that some of you will join me. I'll be moving very, very slowly, tracing patterns from sacred geometry, circles, squares, spirals, two circles together, figure eights, and I'll use some music that are the solfeggio frequencies ranging from 417 hertz to 528 hertz. So this frequency, it aids in the healing of trauma. And this is scientifically proven. And it helps to clear negative energy from your body and space, as well as negative thoughts and behaviors. And it will help you find the motivation to embrace change. And 528 hertz is a more potent frequency with a higher potential impact for transformation. So it's known as the love frequency. And this is something I've never done before. So this is an experiment, the world premiere. And if you feel moved to Piper, you can read what I had put into the chat, if you can still see it. Grace is saying also unresolved grief. And Louise gives wonderful affirmations. Yes, there are a lot of Louise Hay fans in the crowd. So without further ado, let's begin. If you are open to it, please join me standing. If you prefer to sit, you can send some healing energy Piper's way. You can also follow my movements while you're sitting. It is your choice. You do what feels right for you today. You can also speak out the affirmation for yourself too. All right, I'm just going to flash these two amazing books by Louise Hay. I recommend you get them for yourself. They've really helped me. And let's begin. The first one is Cleansing Trauma, 417 hertz. We'll move very slow. Emptying your body, sending healing energy from the heavens out through your feet. And returning to the heart. Thank you, Piper. We love you.
Piper, you're muted, hon.
Oh, I'm having to laugh because whenever high frequency healing, my dog, I literally have a dog that is attached to any vibration of love. And when it was happening, and he's 170 pounds, he's only 13 months old, but he was on top of me, licking every part through this whole process. And I was like, oh my gosh, I thought this love frequency really, really, really works. And that then the moment she said, let it go through up your feet into your heart just now at the end, he's still licking my feet.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
nonstop. And it's always beautiful. Her gifting is beautiful. Louise Hay is beautiful. One of the things that strikes me is I celebrate that beautiful young woman is healed from addiction. When
Mhm.
she speaks on that, there's a part of my maternal that just celebrates. And I'm so grateful because she's such a profound healer and such a beautiful spirit. And this is one of the most horrible experiences that we are going through as a society with our young people. So also thank you to Louise Hay for being a catalyst, but thank you for the strength that she had in connecting with spirit to be able to dance through that healing process, and to see that she's well just really touches me. But that was beautiful. I feel her lightness of being. I feel her presence. I feel her love energy. And my feet are now literally saturated, and he's still going.
Mm. Well, we are winding down for the night, and we're all on this journey together with you, Piper. We're all on this journey together, and it takes a great soul to play the role you're playing. You know, I'll share with you something I've never shared on this show before. I'm imagining a final career as a writer. And there's a book I really want to, there's several books I want to write, but one is I want to write The Gospel According to Judas,
Ooh.
because I've had the perception that Judas was not the way the Christian church has made him out to be. I perceive that he was Jesus's best friend because he had to play such a difficult role.
He had to be so trusted because he was also the treasurer.
Right, right.
Very trustworthy.
Very trustworthy. And he had to play that role that needed to be played.
Mhm.
And I bring that up because in my 68 years of life, observed that sometimes the people that go through the greatest challenges publicly are the greatest souls. And I do believe that what you are going through, part of it is healing your epigenetics, part of it is your own personal history, and part of it is being a role model for us, showing us how to receive, showing us how to handle incredible challenge with grace and dignity and the beauty of tears. And so, thank you, Piper, for letting us take this journey with you. We're all learning, we're all growing, and we really are truly family.
Oh, Scott, I have to share one thing because you said that. So I took care of my father 20 hours a day for the last 30 days of his life.
Oh.
And he had metastasized cancer as well. It started in the prostate, and then it was fourth stage liver, lung, kidney, and bone. And if you knew my father, 6'5", my dad ran 10 to 14 miles a day until he was 78 years old.
Wow.
Strong athlete, holistic eater. But the cancer whittled him away to skin and bone, which meant his body really wasn't functioning, but his spirit was so high and he was so keen. When he was in his last 2 days of life, at one point I would always rub his feet and mostly hold his face and kiss his lips about 1,000 times a day. We were very affectionate, but I just kept saying, I don't want to forget the touch of your lips and your smell and your love. And I just kiss him over and over and over. And at one point he popped up, and this is close to your story. and he opened his eyes. He had tears rolling down his face. And he said, Piper, oh my God, he's real. God is real. And sobbing. And I was like, what? And he said, I was transported into the heavenly realm. And he said, do you see the 4 angels in the corner of the room? Do you see these giant beings? And he was whispering it, and he was very lucid. I mean, incredible. And I was like, no. And he said, they're here, there. And he said, do you see the little boy sitting next to me who's whispered to me that he's here to usher me home? And it was like, and he just grabbed me and he said, Piper, it's all real. And then he said, I just had commune face to face with Yeshua, with Jesus.
Yeah.
And I said, what? And he said, we were speaking, but there's no words. There aren't any words. It's all it's a sensory.
Telepathic.
Yeah, telepathic. And my dad hadn't seen my brother in a very long time, And my brother was very hurt by my parents' divorce after almost 50 years, And so I said, well, what did you ask him, Dad? And he said, I said to him, I'm not asking for more time. I'm just asking to get it right with my son. After years, the door knocked and my brother came in. Yes, yes. And he went into the room with my dad, and we heard laughter and tears and all of it. I would say for about 2 hours. And then my brother walked out and he said, Dad fell asleep. But we went in and he had actually left his body. Yeah. And so exactly what God told him is there is no more time. And he just said just enough to make it right with my son to the minute. But right before that happened, my dad lifted up from the bed, which was very difficult with 4-stage bone cancer. And he said, Piper, come here, come here, come here. And I sat next to him, and he lifted his body up and he took his hand and he placed it on my forehead really hard, as if he was passing me the blessing, which traditionally in Judeo-Christian faith is passed to the eldest son. Well, I'm the youngest and the girl. And he held his hand on my forehead and with all of this strength that his body shouldn't have had. And he said, I need for you to run. I need for you to run, run, run. There is so much work to do to heal the world. There's so much work to do. And I'm leaving the blessing, my governmental anointing with you. And then he said, but I need for you to do it only in your way. So when you just said that, Scott, and his nursemaid, because it was at the home, took this picture when it was happening.
Oh my God, what a picture. Hang on, let me I'm gonna
And then afterwards she said, I'm so sorry. I know that was personal. Is it okay that I took a picture? And I was like, oh my God. So this is in his last moments of life before my brother, I don't know and he called me into his, and he left the blessing upon me. And when you just said that, I heard it. I heard my father's spirit saying, this is exactly why you're on this road. You're on this road because I told you to run. There's so much work to do. Yet it has to be done in your way. And what he meant is don't follow me into politics, because he was like, you're going to follow this. And he needed for me to know God is real, so that I would elevate that journey, because we weren't raised in a religious home. We were raised in a liberal Berkeley, a political home. It was all about love and healing and humanity and so all of the love of God was shown through, all of these works of human rights and social justice and dignity. But he had a profound love of God, profound love of God. And anyway, I had to share that because you awakened that. And now I'm aware, I'm understanding this road. And I needed to hear that so that I could remind myself, this is the road to run upon. Because once I am through the veil of this, I'm going to need to reach back as he did and help usher so many other people through this process of evolution, no matter how painful. So thank you, Scott.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. Although we took a look at it before, just because you shared this, I one more time want to pull up this double photo of you and your father.
Yeah.
God bless you, Ron Dellums, great angel that you are. And God bless you, Piper Dellums, earth angel that you are.
Thank you, Scott. I love you. Thank you.
I love you too.
I love all of you.
And we love Omashar, and
Yeah.
we are going to close with an Omashar song.
Of course.
In the event of a terminal day, I would turn to you. I would say, please help me. Help me see through this illusion. The tears would fall, my knees would bend. I lift my hands up to the heavens. Help me. Help me see out of this illusion. My trust is in you, my faith is strong. I hear the call. It won't be long before sunrise, the light of a brand new day. I hear you say, give me total surrender. I'm coming your way. I need total surrender. You came with me out of the mist, a violet glow, an amethyst of beauty, never seen on earth before. I'll come with you into the light. My starry eyes are burning bright. I trust you. Now I know the reason why. I hear you say, give me total surrender. I'm coming your way. I need total surrender. There's no compromise.
One last time, we're going to gallery view. Let's twinkle Omashar. Let's twinkle Piper.
This twinkles for everyone.
Twinkles for everyone.
There is one of us here, and just well, at the moment, 43 people, plus all of our YouTubers and FaceTimers. So love you all.
Thank you all so very, very much, everybody. It was another beautiful, beautiful show. And let's keep Joanna Joy and her family in our thoughts and prayers this week during that transition time. And of course, continuing to pray for Piper and continuing to share this show and the GoFundMe. Let's continue to raise money for this beloved person. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Deborah Juliet, for the healing work you do with Piper. And God bless us all. And I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday night on the next edition of The Awakening World. Good night, everybody. And remember, tomorrow's Sunday. We can make every day, especially Sunday, sacred by choosing to see the divine in all, starting with yourself. Take care.